Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP army. Appreciate all the love. Let's get right in today's update and really understand what's happening with XRP going into Sunday morning. Just 5 hours ago, Bitcoin was able to reach a new all-time high. Again, if you've been following the channel regularly, this is something we've been anticipating, and Bitcoin nailed it, and we actually reached an all-time high just before we got into Sunday. But looking across the board, the overall market is still looking amazing right now. Some coins seeing a little bit of a minor pullback, but again, on a broader perspective, majority of the coins are feeling love. And again, if you want to look at it from the weekly perspective, I would say most importantly over the last 5 days, we are seeing a substantial increase across the board. XRP up 8.3% with the price currently sitting at $3.02, down about 0.3% in Bitcoin compared with the valuation sitting nice, steady at 180.1 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at 5 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So here we have it. BTC just hit a new all-time high of $125,000, and it was actually higher than that. We almost came up to 126, which is insane to think about. But take a look at this. Over $1.6 billion in shorts were liquidated in the past 7 days alone. We're talking about 1.6 billion, a big number. And again, this is why you want to stay away from leverage trading platforms, guys. I said this time and time out to you guys, and this is something you don't really want to be neglecting, because during these types of moves, your positions can be wiped out, and you just see, it's better off holding the coins rather than leverage trading. And I've seen that from my personal experience. I've been in the space for quite some time. I've had my fair share of leverage trading days as well. But, I would suggest if you're coming new to the markets, there's a lot of exchanges out there that want new users to come on board. I'm not going to name any, to come and to get them to sign up, and then, they give you a bonus, blah, 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 to trade. Trust me, it's better to just stay away from leverage trading platforms. Spot buy, it is the best way in my opinion. But take a look at this. Nate Garcia says Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, and most people still don't even know what Bitcoin is, and that's totally, right. If you're looking at, the grand scheme of things, not many people even know what Bitcoin is. Not many people even know what crypto is. And that tells you how early we still are. I know if you're looking at the price of BTC sitting at $125,000 right now, but again, if you're looking at the market valuation of the entire crypto space, it's still peanuts compared to the bigger markets. Yes, I know you're going to come and compare it when Bitcoin was at 16,000, when Bitcoin was sitting at 20,000, good old days. But that time, it was very, very early. But, again, in the grand scheme of things, I still think, crypto space is still in the early stages, because, mass adoption and regulation is just coming on board. But take a look at this. There's a 96.2% chance of a rate cut in October. This number has been increasing time and time out. But take a look at this. ETF months is here. The SEC faces 16 spot crypto ETF decisions in October. Nova Duo's Nate Garcia says that the next few weeks could be enormous for crypto markets. And, we already saw a very, very important one, which was the Litecoin ETF, which we didn't really hear anything from SEC because, of course, the governments are closed. Due to the closure, there are SEC's kind of not really looking into these ETFs or focusing on the date, so everything is paused at this point. So we'll see what happens. When the government opens, are they gonna get back into this? And I think if they do, we want to really see how this goes. The next few weeks are very important. We're still in the very early stages of the month of October. We still could see. Still a strong chance that we could see us hearing from SEC about an update regarding on not whether we're going to see a delay or we're going to see these ETFs being approved. But this video is going pretty viral on CT, and that is of an interview of Eric Trump, and he pretty much was asked what his thoughts are on Ethereum, BTC, and XRP. Sorry. he says, he knows XRP, he knows Brad, referring to Brad Garlinghouse, and how he has done, quite a good job. So again, this has sparked a lot of excitement, within the XRP community. But again, you shouldn't really be surprised, guys. We're talking about XRP, one of the largest assets in the crypto space. It has a long, long track record. Ripple has a very long track record, and again, we are seeing Brad Garlinghouse had a very, very important meeting, so it shouldn't really be a major surprise that he is aware of who that is. But take a look at this, on Paul Barron's interview, this gentleman says, the XRP rod. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if XRP outperforms what Bitcoin futures did. I think XRP does $2 or $3 billion day one. That's a big statement to make. I personally think maybe we don't see Bitcoin type of numbers, but I think we outpace Ethereum by a massive margin. I would love to see it do that, but again, we're talking about the biggest coin in the crypto space. But we also need to keep in mind there's a complete shift that has been taken for the entire market since Bitcoin originally got that ETF approval. So we need to factor that in. Maybe it does happen with the time that we're in the market. So again, we'll see what happens, but again, it's inevitable. You could see, and Chad posted this, the heat map of net inflows on XRP up it literally, winning it by a massive margin, and it's the XRP and Korean, pair, of course. So big stuff happening there. And last but not least, let's take a look at what Smoke says. Shout out to Smoke. If you're not following Smoke and you are an XRP lover, you want to be making sure you are following Smoke on X. So you can see XRP already has multiple entry points into the Swift network. Here's a list of the third-party providers making it possible. Many still ask how XRP could ever reach Swift's 11,000 customers. The answer is that Ripple chose the fastest and the most efficient path, deploying XRPL ledger technology through several Swift connected technology providers. These firms are ISO 222 compliant, CBPR Plus certified, and integrated with Ripple, enabling XRP usage across the Swift network. To understand this, it is important to note that the ISO 222 opens Swift network to new payment rails and digital asset usage. CBPR Plus, which again is cross-border payment and reporting plus, is Swift's global initiative to standardize cross-border payments using ISO 222. By aligning into CBPR Plus, services like Ripple can participate in this framework, enabling faster and more efficient cross-border settlements. For the first time in history, Swift is moving beyond traditional messaging to API-based messaging through its new transaction management platform. This upgrade allows blockchain, DLT, and crypto asset transactions to flow natively through the Swift network. Big stuff, of course. But let's take a look at what's happening with the price. If you're looking at the dominance here, dominance obviously did pick up quite a bit when Bitcoin broke towards a new all-time high. We actually went up to 59.3%, but since then it has been pulling down. So has Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been pulling down right now, and I did mention this in my HBAR or XPL update. I don't know which one I'm talking about. I just don't remember exactly, but I talked about how dominance going down right now is a good sign, of course, for altcoins, as well as with the way BTC is holding right now. Again, it's goes unsaid. We're in a weekend. On the weekends, more manipulation than usual. Again, CME futures are closed, but as Bitcoin is seeing a healthy correction right now, you should be happy that the dominance has pulled down, because if dominance was still hovering around where we were prior to this retracement for Bitcoin, we would have seen actually a pullback, much worse pullback for altcoins today, in my opinion. But as far as XRP's price is concerned, we're still consolidating within the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level. Bitcoin breaking towards a new all-time high should really give you a closer look as to what's coming. I think it's getting closer and closer before we see XRP breaking out to some of the key levels we actually have not seen it since September 14th, and most importantly, getting to the August levels. I think we're getting very, very close to it, and as Bitcoin reached that all-time high, it just brings in more confidence for myself. Obviously, dominance right now is much higher than where we were back on September 13th. A lot of people have already forgotten that, but I think we are going to get back down to those levels, and that is going to be when the excitement really kicks in. But again, so far so good. We're still remaining above $3 key range over the weekend. We did come very close to $3.08 once again, but again, we need to understand what's happening with BTC. Love what I'm seeing here. So far so good. Subscribe if you have not done so already. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.